Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take intriguing sources and, well, extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight, giving you a shortcut to being well-informed.
That's the goal.
Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into a fascinating ancient text called the Gaṇakamoggallānasuttaṃ. Our mission, really, is to uncover some universal truths about learning, mastery, and why even the absolute best guidance still needs your personal commitment, your application.
Yeah, and what's so interesting here, I think, is how this ancient chat, it's basically a dialogue between a spiritual teacher and, believe it or not, an accountant.
An accountant, right.
It reveals these timeless lessons about individual responsibility, and that applies whether you're on a spiritual path or, frankly, any path of trying to understand something deeply.
It really resonates beyond the original context.
Absolutely. Far beyond.
Okay, let's unpack this then.
Yeah.
So we find ourselves in ancient Savatthi. We're at Biggermata's palace.
Right. A specific location.
And the main figures are Bhagavan, who's the spiritual teacher, and this Brahmin, Gaṇakamoggallāna, whose job is basically a calculator, an accountant.
And Gaṇakamoggallāna starts things off with something anyone can relate to, really. He looks around the palace and notices the gradual steps.
Leading up the stairs.
Exactly, leading right up to the top. And he immediately connects this to other professions he knows. It's a very practical observation.
He mentions how Brahmins have this gradual training in study, and archers, they have gradual training in archery. It's all step by step.
Yeah, progression. And then, crucially, he talks about his own field, accounting. He describes how they teach apprentices.
How does that work?
He says, we first teach them to count. 1 1s, 2 2s, 3 3s, up to 100. We can even count up to 100. It's super systematic. You build the foundation first.
Okay, I see the pattern. Building blocks.
Precisely. And that's what leads him to his big question for Bhagavan. He asks, is it possible, dear Gautama, to lay down a gradual training, a gradual practice, a gradual path in this Dhamma and discipline as well?
So basically, can you teach spiritual development the same way you teach arithmetic, step by step?
That's the core of it. And Bhagavan's answer, a clear yes. He says, it is possible, Brahmin, to lay down a gradual training, a gradual practice, a gradual path in this Dhamma and discipline.
No hesitation.
None. And just for clarity, Dhamma and discipline here pretty much means the Buddha's teachings and the practices associated with them.
Okay, so it is possible. How does he explain it?
Well, he immediately jumps to an analogy, a really good one, actually. He compares his role to a skilled horse trainer.
A horse trainer.
Oh, yeah. So when this trainer gets a fine thoroughbred, a really good horse, what's the very first thing they do?
Probably get used to the bridle control.
Exactly. He says they train it in mouth control first, the absolute basics, and only after that's established do they move on to further training.
Right. You can't do fancy jumps if the horse won't even respond to basic commands.
Precisely. And Bhagavan draws the direct parallel. He says, just like that horse trainer, the Tathagata, that's a term he uses for himself, meaning something like one who has thus come or thus gone.
Okay.
He trains a trainable person in exactly this gradual, systematic way. It's not about some mystical instant insight for most people. It's a guided progression.
A structured path. So what does this path actually look like? What are the steps?
Well, this is where it gets really practical. He lays out 7 specific stages. It's like a blueprint for development, honestly, and you can see parallels in learning almost any complex skill.
Okay, let's dive into these 7 steps. What's number 1?
Step 1, the absolute foundation, is morality. Sela in the original Pali language.
Morality.
The instruction is pretty clear. Be moral, abide restrained by the Padamokka. You can think of the Padamokka as like a core code of conduct for monks, but the principle applies broadly. Be perfect in conduct and resort, seeing danger in the slightest faults, undertaking and training in the training rules.
Wow, seeing danger in the slightest faults? That's demanding. It's not just about avoiding big mistakes.
Exactly. It's about building a really solid ethical foundation, paying meticulous attention to the small stuff, because, small cracks can eventually undermine the whole structure. It's about integrity in action.
That makes a lot of sense, like building good habits early on. So what's step 2?
Step 2 is sense restraint.
Sense restraint. Okay, what does that entail?
It means being, as the text says, a guardian of the doors of your senses. So when you see something with your eye or hear a sound, smell something, taste, touch, even when a thought arises in your mind.
Yes.
The idea is not to immediately grasp at its general appearance or, get lost in its specific details.
So don't get hooked immediately by every sight or sound. Like, maintain some distance.
Precisely. It's about filtering. The text explicitly says why it's important. Without this restraint, things like covetousness and distress, basically negative mental states can just flow in.
Ah, so it's about protecting your mental space, keeping your mind clear, and not letting every little thing disturb you or pull you off course. That sounds incredibly difficult today with constant stimulation.
It is a huge challenge, but a crucial skill for focus. Okay, step 3.
Step 3.
Moderation in eating.
Ah, interesting. Not just what you eat, but how and why.
Exactly. The text says food is not for play, not for intoxication, not for adornment, not for beautification.
So no comfort eating, no feasting just for fun.
Right. Its sole purpose, according to this path, is the maintenance and continuance of the body, for ending discomfort, for supporting the holy life. It's about mindful consumption, discerning what the body actually needs to function well and support the deeper practice.
Kind of like fueling a high-performance machine appropriately, rather than just dumping anything in.
That's a good way to put it. Optimal function over indulgence. Then we have step 4.
Right, so step 4.
Devotion to wakefulness.
Wakefulness, like literally not sleeping much.
Not exactly just minimizing sleep, though it involves structure around rest. It's more about cultivating a state of sustained alertness and mental clarity, being energetically present.
Ah, okay. How does that work?
Well, it describes purifying the mind during the day and the first part of the night through practices like walking and sitting meditation. Even during the middle part of the night, there's a specific posture, recommended the lion's posture, to maintain mindfulness even while resting. And then in the last part of the night, one gets up again to continue purifying the mind. It's about consistent effort, not just intense bursts followed by crashing. Mastery requires sustained presence.
So it's less about sleep deprivation and more about optimizing your energy and focus across the entire 24-hour cycle, maintaining a kind of vigilant clarity.
You got it. It's a very intentional approach to energy management for mental work. Okay, step 5.
Step 5. This sounds like it's getting quite deep now.
It is. Step 5 is mindfulness and clear comprehension.
Mindfulness. We hear that word a lot. What does it mean in this specific context?
Here it means being endowed with mindfulness and clear comprehension in literally everything you do.
Everything.
Everything. The text lists examples. Going forward and returning, looking ahead and looking around, bending and stretching, putting on robes, eating, drinking, even defecating and urinating, and then, in walking, standing, sitting, sleeping, waking, speaking, and being silent.
Wow. That's total. So every single action, no matter how mundane, becomes an opportunity for awareness, not just during formal meditation practice.
Exactly. It's about integrating that quality of present moment awareness into the fabric of daily life. Imagine the kind of presence that requires.
It's hard to imagine, actually.
Right.
Okay, what's step 6?
Step 6 moves towards deeper practice. Seclusion and abandoning hindrances.
Seclusion. So getting away from distractions.
Yes. The text mentions resorting to a secluded dwelling like a forest, the root of a tree, a cave, even just an open-air spot, or, interestingly, a heap of straw, anywhere quiet.
Finding the right environment for focus. Makes sense.
Right. And after getting food, like the alms round for monks, one sits down, body erect, mindfulness established. And here, the main job is abandoning the 5 hindrances.
The 5 hindrances. What are they?
The text calls them imperfections of the mind that weaken wisdom. They are specifically listed as 1, covetousness or sensual desire, 2, ill will or aversion, 3, sloth and torpor, like sluggishness or dullness, 4, restlessness and remorse, like anxiety or regret, and 5, skeptical doubt, not constructive questioning, but paralyzing uncertainty.
So it's about actively clearing out that internal mental clutter, the stuff that clouds judgment and prevents real insight.
Precisely. You identify them and work on letting them go. And that leads directly to the final step.
Okay, the 7th and final stage of this gradual path.
Step 7 is entering the jhanas, which are states of deep meditative absorption.
Jhanas. I've heard that term. Deep concentration states.
Exactly. After abandoning those hindrances, the mind becomes calm and clear enough to enter these progressively deeper states. The first jhana is described as having thought and investigation, along with rapture and happiness born of seclusion.
So still some mental activity, but very focused and positive.
Right. And as you progress through the subsequent jhanas, there are traditionally 4 described here. The mental activity stills further. You move towards profound equanimity, pure mindfulness, beyond pleasure and pain. The 4th jhana is described as complete purification of mindfulness due to equanimity.
Wow. That sounds like a very profound state of being.
It is considered a key part of the path to insight and liberation. And the text notes that this whole 7-step instruction is the training for those still learning, still striving for the goal, and it also helps those who've already attained enlightenment, the arahants, to abide pleasantly and mindfully.
So it's both a path to the goal and a way to live once you've reached it.
In a sense, yes. The qualities cultivated are foundational.
Okay, so Bhagavan lays out this incredibly detailed, systematic 7-step path. It sounds foolproof almost, which leads Gaṇakamoggallāna, the accountant, to ask a very logical, practical question.
The obvious next question, really.
He asks, okay, you've got this amazing system. Does everyone you teach like this actually reach the ultimate goal, Nirvana? Or, is it just some of them?
Yeah, the million-dollar question. Does the system guarantee results? And Bhagavan gives a very honest answer.
What does he say?
He says, some attain Brahmin and some do not.
Some do, some don't. Even with the perfect path and the perfect teacher. That must have confused Gaṇakamoggallāna.
It did. He's basically thinking, wait a minute. Nirvana exists, the path to get there exists, and you, Bhagavan, are the expert guide. So why doesn't everyone make it? What's the missing variable?
Right. If the instructions are perfect, shouldn't the outcome be guaranteed?
And this is where Bhagavan uses that second brilliant analogy, the one about the road to Rajagaha. It really nails the point.
Ah, yes, the Rajagaha analogy. How does that go again?
Bhagavan flips the question back onto Gaṇakamoggallāna. He asks him, Brahmin, are you familiar with the road to the city of Rajagaha? Can you give directions?
And Gaṇakamoggallāna, being local presumably, says yes, of course.
Right. He knows the way. So Bhagavan sets up 2 scenarios. Scenario 1, a guy comes up to Gaṇakamoggallāna and asks for directions to Rajagaha.
Okay.
Gaṇakamoggallāna gives him perfect, clear, step-by-step directions. He points out the landmarks. Go past this village, the mat town, you'll see a beautiful park there. Really detailed instruction.
Got it. Perfect map.
Perfect map. But despite these perfect directions, the guy gets confused, takes a wrong turn, maybe ignores a sign, and ends up going completely the wrong way. He goes backwards even.
Okay. Person 1 fails, despite good instructions.
Exactly. Scenario 2. Another person comes up, asks the exact same question. Gaṇakamoggallāna gives the exact same perfect, clear directions.
Same map.
Same map. This time, the person listens carefully, follows the instructions precisely, pays attention to the landmarks, and arrives safely in Rajagaha.
Success.
Yeah.
So same directions, different outcomes.
Right. So Bhagavan asks Gaṇakamoggallāna, why did this happen, Brahmin? The city Rajagaha exists, the path to Rajagaha exists, you are the expert guide showing the way, yet one person gets lost and the other arrives safely. Why?
What does the accountant say? How does he explain it?
Gaṇakamoggallāna's reply is simple and profound. He says, what can I do about it, dear Gautama? I am merely the pointer of the way.
Ah, I can only show you the map. I can't walk the road for you.
Precisely. And Bhagavan immediately draws the parallel back to his own teaching. He says, just so, Brahmin, Nirvana exists. The path to Nirvana exists. I am the guide. Yet some of my disciples, though instructed by me in this way, attain Nirvana, and some do not.
Wow.
And he concludes, repeating Gaṇakamoggallāna's own words, what can I do about it, Brahmin? The Tathagata is merely the pointer of the way.
That's incredibly powerful. It puts the responsibility squarely back on the individual learner, doesn't it? The guide provides the map, the method, but the effort, the diligence, the actual walking of the path, that's up to you.
Exactly. It's about personal agency. The quality of the student matters as much as the quality of the teaching.
So hearing this, Gaṇakamoggallāna seems to get it. He realizes it's not just the path or the guide, but the disposition, maybe. The qualities of the person trying to follow the path.
Yes, he articulates this understanding. He actually describes the kinds of people who fail versus those who succeed based on their qualities.
What does he say about those who fail?
He calls them bad individuals in this context, describing them as faithless, maybe just ordained for the sake of a livelihood rather than genuine seeking. Deceitful, cunning, arrogant, fickle, garrulous, meaning they talk too much maybe, unrestrained in senses, immoderate in food, not devoted to wakefulness, lazy, unmindful, unwise, and foolish. It's quite a list.
Yeah, basically lacking all the qualities needed for that rigorous 7-step training we just discussed.
Pretty much. And Bhagavan confirms he doesn't really associate with people like that, implying they aren't truly ready or equipped for the journey he guides.
And what about the ones who succeed? The good individuals.
He describes them with the opposite qualities. Faithful, sincere, Not arrogant, not fickle, not garrulous, but instead restrained in senses, moderate in food, devoted to wakefulness, earnest in training, energetic, resolute, mindful, clearly comprehending, focused, one-pointed in mind, wise, and not foolish.
So possessing all the dedication, discipline, and mental qualities required to actually follow the instructions and walk the path effectively.
Exactly. These are the traits of someone who can actually benefit from the guidance. And Bhagavan says, yes, these are the kinds of people he associates with.
It's a very clear distinction between just receiving information and actually having the capacity and willingness to apply it.
It really is. And the sutta then wraps up quite beautifully. Gaṇakamoggallāna, having had this profound insight, offers this wonderful praise for Bhagavan and his teaching.
How does he praise it?
He uses scent analogies. He compares the teaching to the very best, the most excellent scents, like black fragrant root among root scents, or red sandalwood among heartwood scents, or jasmine among flower scents. He's saying this teaching is supreme, the finest fragrance of wisdom.
That's lovely. A poetic way to express its value.
Very much so. And then he gives that classic formula of praise you often find in these texts.
Right, the one about setting things up right.
That's the one. He says, excellent, dear Gautama, excellent. Just as one might set upright what was overturned, or reveal what was hidden, or point out the way to one who was lost, or hold up a lamp in the darkness so that those with eyes might see forms, in the same way has the Dhamma been made clear by the dear Gautama in many ways.
It's a powerful image. Clarity emerging from confusion thanks to the teaching.
It really is. And with that profound statement of understanding and appreciation, Gaṇakamoggallāna formally takes refuge. Basically declares his commitment to Bhagavan, the Dhamma, the teaching, and the Sangha, the community, saying he'll be a lay follower for the rest of his life.
A complete conversion based on understanding the logic and the path.
A full acceptance of the teaching and the teacher.
Wow. What an incredible journey through this sutta. We started with an accountant asking about step-by-step learning and ended with this profound understanding of personal responsibility on the path to mastery.
Yeah, we really unpacked an ancient conversation that honestly feels surprisingly relevant for anyone trying to learn anything significant today.
Absolutely. Whether it's a new job skill, a creative pursuit, personal growth, a spiritual path, the principles seem to hold.
They really do. I mean, if we try to connect this to the bigger picture, what this deep dive really highlights is that genuine mastery, whatever the field, it is systematic. It's gradual. There are steps.
Right, like the accountant's method or the horse training.
Exactly. But, and this is the crucial, but from the Rajagaha analogy, it's also deeply personal. The guide, the teacher, the book, the course, they can give you the map. They can point the way.
But they can't walk it for you.
They can't walk it for you. You, the learner, you're the one who has to take the steps. You have to apply the wisdom, cultivate the necessary qualities, the diligence, the focus, the honesty with yourself. That's what ultimately determines success. The responsibility lies with the individual engaging with the path.
So, thinking about this deep dive, what really stands out to you, our listener? Maybe it's that meticulous 7-step training plan, which, if you adapt it, could be a framework for learning almost anything demanding.
Or maybe it's that simple, powerful image of the guide pointing the way to Rajagaha, that moment where you realize, the map is perfect, but I have to do the walking.
Yeah, acknowledging that irreplaceable role you play in your own journey.
Definitely.
So as you reflect on all this, here's a final provocative thought to maybe mull over. In your own life, in your pursuits of knowledge or skill, what's the Rajagaha you're currently striving to reach? What's that goal?
Good question.
And thinking about the sutta, how might really truly embracing your personal responsibility for the journey, even when you have excellent guides or resources, how might that actually accelerate your progress towards that goal? Something to think about.